There's a point where being a great painter actually starts negatively impacting your company, and most people don't even realize it when they cross it. They just feel more tired and more burnt out than ever before. Complete frustration. Hi, welcome to the Painters Lounge, where we talk like operators and not like social media influencers. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jesse. I am the owner, operator, and executive director of Purity Painting Incorporated. If you're looking to scale your business, hire new team members, build systems, and start getting in the operator chair and get the heck off of the tools, then this video is for you. So welcome to episode 2 of the Painters Lounge. So a quick note before we get going here. These conversations don't really live here on YouTube. So if you are a painter or a contractor and you want to dive into building systems and talk about execution, then you should check out our Discord server. The link is in the description. And let's just start this conversation by saying that this is not a motivational video. We're not here trying to just fluff you up and make you feel good. This is real operational status that we're talking about. We're trying to get you from off the tools into the CEO chair. That's what we're trying to do here. So we're not exactly talking tactics yet. What we're talking about is in episode 1, we were going on about hard work not being enough. Now here in episode 2, we're going to talk about how your role is the wrong role. This episode is about you being in the phase where everything looks like it's working well, but in reality, it really isn't. So there's a fundamental gap here without understanding. So growth without leverage is actually misused. So having worked and talked with literally hundreds of contractors, there is a very real misunderstanding of what progression actually means. Let me explain. Growth without leverage actually makes that progression turn into legitimate chaos. Let me just further that thought by saying that on paper, I was scaling, but I was working my tail off and I'm on site every single day. I was the one that was doing the painting. In the last video, I explained how I needed more bodies to fulfill the work that we were getting, but I was still there. So every time I ran off site to do something, what does that mean for me? We're down in labor. Now, what we need to do is shift that role so that we are no longer down in labor and we're talking about leveraging everything that we're doing going forward. So what specifically increased? Was it jobs? Was it revenue? Was it crew size? Literally all of those things increased. So it seemed like things were getting better. However, things were simultaneously getting worse. How could that be, you might ask? Well, that's the moment that I realized that scaling jobs is not the same as scaling leverage. Two completely fundamentally different things. So growth itself wasn't the problem. It was that my role never changed while I was growing, which created a massive bottleneck. So what roles was I still personally doing? Which roles did I feel like were non-negotiable at the time for me when we were scaling up? Well, let's talk about that. So on-site painting, I felt like I couldn't do it without me giving 100% of my physical effort. I felt like nobody could do as good of a job as me. So guess what? Now it's outsourced. Crew management, managing the people who are actually on site doing the jobs, setting the right people in place to do the best job for that specific type of unique job. Now it's outsourced. Managing payroll, now it's outsourced. Managing admin, outsourced. Managing sales, outsourced or partially outsourced. Sometimes I jump back in. Firefighting, meaning that every time there's a problem, I have to be the one to go on site and either fix the problem or hold somebody's hand to walk through fixing the problem. Completely outsourced. Project management's a beautiful thing. Nobody's ever gonna care like the owner does. And guess what? That's normal, especially in a trade service business. Nobody's going to be, in your mind, as good as you because you spent years building this. You've been the specialist in this trade with your hands doing the jobs, and that's normal, okay? But as soon as you realize this, then you can start moving forward and stop trying to clone yourself and stop trying to get your employees to actually become you. What you're trying to do is you're trying to build them up to make them the best version of themselves. At that point, you can start designing roles and have people in those roles that completely kick butt and can do an awesome job without you actually being there. As a matter of fact, they might even do better with you not being there because you're not breathing down their neck anymore and they're not feeling the tension of you actually judging them and how their performance is doing. And while you're trying to build them up, you're also trying to wear many other hats. So sales and production, doing those simultaneously will actually completely break the system that you're trying so hard to design. So the moment that I started to see that my systems were starting to fail was the moment that I was trying to do sales at the same time that I was trying to do production. Just simply does not work. So what did sales feel like at the time? Well, it felt very very productive. Well, what broke in my system then? It inevitably hit its failure point. Why? Because one always steals from the other, no matter what. And production always pays the price for that. And 99% of the time, it's actually your fault. So what are we gonna do about it? Suck it up and let's fix it. So stop being so emotional about why are things failing? Why is this happening to me? Like, forget about all of that. You wanna actually build a plan, and you wanna be serious about building systems, jump into our Discord server. The link's in the description. We have a mentorship program just for you, and we can break down your business and see what the actual constraints are in your specific situation, and then we can build a plan around that. So if that sounds like it's interesting to you, make sure you hit that link in the description, and we'll see you on the other side. So I remember going through all that at the time, and at the time I was consuming lots of YouTube videos on like, how the heck do I get off of the tools and get into the CEO chair? But I guess it depends on what you're listening to or where your heart's desire is. It quite literally was a prayer of mine. I'm like, God, I want to get off the tools. To me, it just seemed like such a far-fetched thing, but I prayed it anyways. I was hearing at the time, work on your business, don't work in your business. That was a huge unlock for me. I was like, I want to understand what that means. So that kind of thing stopped me dead in my tracks, and I'm like, I need to figure this out. Like, I really need to figure this one out because I can't keep working. My back is destroyed. I used to work a very harsh job before even getting into this. It's just messed with my back. I had a real desire to actually get off the tools, and it actually felt very uncomfortable to me, I'll be real. And my job was no longer to hold a brush, roll and spray, or do anything that I was actually skilled at. So that's why it felt uncomfortable, because I was very, very skilled at these other things. So I'm like, I'm skilled at that. I've worked so hard to get that. How am I just gonna let all that go and just try to pursue something different? That is the most crucial unlock in your career, because from that moment on, you can actually start growing. So that's when I realized that I wasn't actually failing. I was just severely misaligned. And that was a big shift for me mentally to be able to get my business on track to where it should be. And because of that, it's completely paid dividends in the time that I've actually put in and what I've received. So the hardest part about giving up my painter role was not logistics. That was actually the easy part. The hardest part was giving it up emotionally, because I had chosen to take that on as part of my identity. So when people would ask me, who is Jesse? Jesse is a 20 whatever year old guy, however old I was at the time, guy who's a painter, who's a Christian, who lives in London, Ontario, all these XYZ fill in the blank, who I am. I chose to take that as part of my identity. So giving it up was actually very difficult for me. And why did that matter to me personally? Like, if you're going to take on an identity in anything, it should have some significant meaning. Well, I put in years and years of work. It was my very first job. I've been working for far more than half my life. I started way before the legal age and actually working. And so hard work has fundamentally been a pillar of my foundation. So giving that up felt like, if I'm going to sit in this chair right here, then I'm not working hard. But hard work is not the problem. It's scale and leverage. That's the problem. And that I didn't have at the time. There was also an underlining level of fear that comes with doing something that's uncomfortable, because in painting, I worked to a point where I was very, very comfortable in my craft. Now, doing something new, going into the unknown, uncharted territory, that's, as it is, unknown. You don't know what to expect on the other side. That said, we have a saying in our own personal household here: if you're not stressed, you're not blessed. And as simple as that, because anything that you don't know means that you're actually growing. If you're going into an area where, hey, I don't know this thing, well, I'm going to spend that time, and you make that decision, I'm going to spend time and I'm going to learn this thing and I'm going to get really flipping good at it. Well, guess what? That means that you're actually growing. So when you're feeling uncomfortable, I want you to understand that that is good. That means that you have an opportunity to learn. If you're just comfortable for the rest of your life, you're literally never going to learn anything. I have a 5-year-old daughter, and I tell her all the time, why do we practice things? And she'll tell me, Daddy, it's because if we don't practice things, we're never going to get good at anything. And that's the teaching here, is that you have to practice, 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 and you have to make it so that you have the opportunity to receive new information at any point in your life. At any time, you constantly have to be learning, you constantly have to be growing. If you're not, what the heck are we doing even watching this video? So if you don't want to grow and you don't want to learn new things, click off this video. It's not for you anyways. This is not the crowd that we're trying to attract. We're trying to attract the hustlers, people who are trying to get ahead, people who are wanting a better lifestyle and a better family life and a better business life. We want people who want to have free time. We want people to scale their businesses. We want people to do over $1 million in sales. I want you to be the best version of you that you can possibly be. So I will say this, that stopping production actually is the biggest milestone in my working career so far, and bigger than any revenue goal that I could even conceive in my mind, because that took me from working on site and using my personal labor, my physical labor, to get money, trading my time for money. Now I'm trading my leverage for money. So what are the resources that I have that I can pull on to get the highest return possible? And let me just mention that the return is not just finances. I promise you, you will realize this at some point. If you're on the tools right now, now and you have an opportunity to get off the tools, it is not just a dollar figure number. It is time with your family. It's time off. It's being able to do things during the week when everybody else is working. I just made a video recently of going to the movie theater with my daughter on a Sunday. I could not believe the amount of people that were in a parking lot, and I couldn't find a parking space anywhere. I had to park like blocks and blocks away. Why is that? Because everybody's working a 9 to 5. For me, I do 99% of my stuff during the week, right? When everyone else is working. I rarely go out on weekends because of this exact thing. So it was a shocker to me because I haven't dealt with that for like over a year and a half. I haven't seen a parking lot that full. It's crazy to me. And so that's what I mean, is that the leverage and the return is not just your dollar figure. It is many other things that you actually value in your life. Maybe it means that you like to go to church on Sunday, but you've been tied up because your job's going behind and you can't go to church on Sunday because you have to get this job before Monday because you have a job that's starting on Monday. So see what I mean? It is things that are of value to you in your life, and that is the return that you can get by getting off of the tools. So if you haven't watched the last video, definitely click the link and make sure that you watch the last video because it explains how hard work, it actually has a diminishing return once your capacity hits its peak. And that means that you need to get off the tools. It's very important. So like, why did hard work and effort stop working for me? What external things were actually going on that contributed to this? Well, let's talk about seasonality, how we're painters and we live in Canada. So once it snows, things slow down. That's just a reality. We have to find ways around that, right? We have to deploy different services. We have to plan. We have to pre-plan. We have to do different types of advertising to be able to like get these jobs during the slower times. We have to plan for actual burnout. So when people are working their butt off, you can't just keep making them work and work and work and work, right? You have to actually hire for increased capacity. So that capacity planning actually has a very strong impact on how you're going to run your business. If you do it incorrectly, then your business is going to start failing. So at some point, your hard work and your effort, it really stops compounding. And that's a key takeaway here. We're talking about your limits, not your hustle. Your hustle literally doesn't mean anything unless you're working by yourself. And even when you're working by yourself, you need to stop thinking that hustle can actually get you out of this. It can't. So as an owner, your output has to evolve over time. Like we were talking about before, if you're not creating an opportunity for yourself to learn, you're not evolving. You're not doing anything. So what did my outputs used to be? And what did my outputs now need to be? It went from production only, then to production and sales. Then it went to sales only. Then it went to sales and systems. Now it's systems only. So it's a huge difference compared to where we started to where we actually needed to be. So your output defines the ceiling that you're about to hit. So you need to make sure that you're aligned in the right way with what your new role actually is, and there's no role confusion. If your output doesn't change, then your business is going to stall forever. You're never going to grow. So you need to map out the stage that you're actually in to define the role that you need to assume. Luckily for you, we've already done that for you, and it's in our Discord server completely mapped out for you, so don't miss out on that. So our main objective is to talk about why we need to hire people who are actually better than us. So I stopped trying to be the best. Why is that? Because I can't do everything. I literally cannot do everything. As much as I would like to just replicate myself and just have a business full of Jessies, you can't do that. So you actually need to hire people who are better than you. So finding those people is your new role. So now you need to hire people. Now you need to train people. Now you need to set people up with systems and have people ready to be able to learn what it takes to succeed in your business. Your job is to help people succeed and help them be the best that they can be. So what roles were needed to outperform me personally? And why was that uncomfortable for me? Well, I had to hire admin. I thought that nobody could do admin better than me. Nobody could send an invoice better than me. Nobody could sell a job better than me. Nobody could email a customer better than me. Nobody could do anything better than me. That's what I thought. Project management. I thought that nobody really knows what they're looking at when they're going to a job site and seeing deficiencies. I thought that nobody would do a better job than that. Sales. I thought that literally nobody could learn our system and sell a job the same way that I can. Well, guess what? We hired sales guys, and those sales guys not only learned our system, but confidently sold jobs and made an income for themselves. At that moment, I realized, I'm like, wow, this is working. Everything that we've built is starting to actually come through and it's starting to work. And it was a beautiful thing to watch. So we're just paying for leverage. So when somebody does very well at their role or they have those natural qualities, then you want to just basically get them trained in their role, get them confident with the systems that you've built and make sure that they succeed. And then you just pay them accordingly. It is the biggest unlock when you find somebody who's better than you. So you need to put your ego aside and you need to think about leverage. You need to stop trying to be the best all the time. I hear it all the time. Nobody can paint like I can. Guess what? There's a million painters out there. Nobody can sell a job like I can. Guess what? There's a million sales guys out there. You need to make sure that you're hiring the right people for the right task. You don't want to put somebody who is a good painter in a manager's role. You see that as well too. Somebody might be an amazing painter, an awesome supervisor, but as soon as you put them into a admin or logistics manager role, all of a sudden what happens? Then they crumble because they've never done a job like that before. Maybe they don't even like that. Maybe they're just interested in the pay raise, and then they end up getting fired because they're underperforming. Instead, you should get the people confident and competent at the jobs that they're doing, and then let them be the best that they can be in that role. We have this saying in our company, you do what you're good at, let me do what I'm good at. What I'm good at is building these systems. So that's why I do that. Everybody else does everything else. So if this episode made you feel uncomfortable, that's great. That's intentional. It was designed to do that because we want to get you out of a zone of comfort and get you into an operator role where you are uncomfortable but learning at the same time. If you want some extra help with that, this is an ongoing series and we're going to make it so accessible for you at such a good cost that it is a no-brainer for you to jump into this so that you can learn these systems yourself and you can get off the tools and you can start working in an operator's chair. So this series isn't about building something that's going to fall apart. It's about building the foundation right the first time so then you can scale that up to infinity and beyond. I hope you like that video. If you're serious about this and you want to scale your business, you want to hit over $1 million in sales, you want to grow your team, you want to go into a different location, definitely click the link down below, get into our Discord server, join there, and you're going to love what you see. So we'll see you on the other side.